years now, but just databases and storage wasn't really up to the task yet. Things like the plugin directory moved from around 3,000 plugins at the start of the year to over 4,200 plugins, with more than 22 million downloads. We did some innovations like the built-in updater and installer. Who was getting tired of upgrading WordPress? We were doing a lot of releases, right? And every time you download the zip file and upload it. And now we've made it as close to being a one-click install as we can without Amazon suing us. It's supposed to be as seamless as possible. And this is just sort of the beginning of it as well. I like this podium. Like, you stand up, it makes me look taller. This actually manifested itself. Our first ever point release after 2.7, which included the built-in update, was 2.71. The current stats for that were 32,700 downloads per day. So yesterday, 32,000 people downloaded a copy of 2.71. And this does not include languages other than English. So even the very enthusiastic international adoption is not reflected in this number. Weird technicals. But this is sort of the manifestation of what has been sort of, a few years ago I realized that WordPress, as people started adopting and using it for different things, it wasn't just about blogging. What's really happened is that WordPress has become more of a platform, meaning that, well, statistically, the average WordPress.org blog has 4.96 plugins installed on average. Does anyone have more than 5 plugins installed? Just out of curiosity. Well, a lot of you. Okay, how about more than 15 plugins installed? Whoa, okay. More than 30 plugins? Who is this girl? You have how many? 33. Wow, does anyone beat that? Alright, do you have an iPhone? Do you have an iPhone? I'll think of something better. Can we send a sweatshirt? One of the new WordPress sweatshirt. Okay. Talk to me afterwards. We'll get you a prize for having the most plugins in the room. I was hoping you had an iPhone because we have, see, I got this thing. It's a normal iPhone in the front, but it's like a mullet. Parties in the back. Got a cool WordPress sticker. So, we didn't know that there were iPhones here in Hong Kong, so I didn't bring any of these. I have literally one, because this one has gotten a little beat up. So I had one in a notebook in my bag that I was going to replace this one with, but I guess we can give it away. The sticker is fine, the bottom of it's a little ragged because it was in my moleskin, but we can give it away later for a trivia prize or something like that. But regardless, so there's an average of 5 plugins, and there's a long tail distribution. So what that means is of all the WordPress.org users in this room, or even if there were 200 of us in this room, it'd be unlikely that any 2 of us were running the same WordPress. And that's not even counting themes. There's 5,000 to 6,000 themes out there. So when you think about it, what's exciting about what WordPress has become is that it's a different experience for every single person. That's personally what I love about Firefox, right? I have my 6 or 7 extensions I use that completely tweak it for me. So even though Chrome is faster and cooler and everything like that, I'm not going to switch because I have those on my extensions. So really we become we need to treat it not just as an application, which we always will focus on making WordPress a better blogging tool, a better CMS, everything like that, but really as a platform for development, not unlike Firefox, Windows, Mac OS X. We need to think about the same thing that platforms think about: security, updates, cross-application or plugin compatibility. Which is one of the reasons we did a theme directory. I'll actually skip that, so I'll come back to it later. Most importantly, last year we sort of switched to being user-driven development. We at least have one person who remembers this, right? This was the original WordPress interface, 0.71. Is anyone using WordPress around this time? 1, 2 people. That's about, statistically, that's about right. You can see it was black and white. We had this beautiful logo I designed, you can tell. You could have as many categories as you wanted, as long as you picked one of them. It was very, very basic. And then it took us about 4 years to go from that to this, which is the 2.5 redesign we did in March of last year. Which was, I think, a very good process. It was the first time we really looked at WordPress from a really design perspective and started thinking about the application. But it took us about 6 months to go from that to this, which is the latest 2.7 design that hopefully all of you in the room are using already. which is a pretty radical departure, both in terms of usability, functionality, and speed from all previous versions. So the development of WordPress is really accelerating, which I find exciting. And the reason for that is, when you look at it, the release of 2.7 had over 150 developers contribute to it. That's a lot of people, no matter how you cut it, even in China. It's a lot of people. So what about WordPress 2.8? Oh, first of all, before we get started, does anyone have any feature requests for WordPress 2.8? Any things that you really want to see in there? Raise your hand. It's not done yet, so there's a chance you might actually get in. No feature request. Okay, there we go.
I want to say about the multi-user version.
Say that one more time?
MU version.
MU version.
Also 2.8, right?
Not yet, but MU 2.7.1, which is a really big deal, is coming out very soon.
Yeah, I'm using 2.7 MU.
Okay.
Yeah, but the main point is because I use MU all the time, and I think the back end can be improved in many ways. Because, for example, the plugin control, you need to, if you are using just put the files in the plugin folder, if you want to activate the plugin in every block, you need to.
It's impossible, right? But in 2. Actually, that's a functionality we're adding in MU 2.7.1. So keep an eye out for that in the next, hopefully, the next couple of days, because it'll be simultaneous with the release of WordPress. So plugin control and MU feature request. Yes, I saw a hand right around here. And I'm just going to pick someone. Okay, so one feature request. Okay, well, let me tell you what's currently planned. One is theme update. So as you know, we have a theme directory. So just like today, there's a new version of the plugin you're using. It will notify you, you click a button, you can install it. And more importantly, if you are wanting to install a plugin, you can now do it directly from your WordPress dashboard without having to download or upload anything, just a one-click process of browsing and installing plugins. You'll be able to do the exact same thing for themes. 2 is widgets. So those of you who are happy with the 2.7 redesign notice that nothing changed about widgets. This is just because we didn't have time to get to them yet. So we're completely, we're redesigning how widgets work into 8, which is actually currently the thing holding up the release. And what I'm most excited about is actually custom taxonomies. Has anyone here ever used a custom taxonomy in developing a WordPress site? It's a very little known feature. It's actually been sort of hidden in WordPress since around 2.3, but it became cool. Well, it's becoming cool in 2.8. A good example of this, hopefully everyone's visited my photo blog at least once, ma.tt. If you look at it, some of the pictures are labeled with people, and so there might be a name. So let's say Maya Desai is labeled. And if you click on her name, it'll take you to all the pictures of her anywhere on the site. And the cool thing is if you look at the URL, it's /person/Maya Desai, right? It's a clean SEO optimized URL that's separate from my tag space or category space. So what this allows you to do is create basic custom taxonomies. You can have as many as you want. And with one line, you can create a taxonomy, and the URLs get created, the interface gets created, the database tables get created. Everything sort of happens automatically on the back end. And finally, it's faster. So one of the things in 2.7, we added a lot of functionality, but we hadn't really optimized it. So we're paying a lot of attention to the front-end performance of how WordPress works. Who here uses WordPress as a CMS, just out of curiosity? So not primarily as a blog. So this is the Mac crew up here. We got about a couple. This is actually the fastest growing use of WordPress, meaning that there might be a blog on the site, but often the site looks nothing like a blog at all. Look how happy that guy is to be using. He's on 2.7. Yeah, typography, yeah, beautiful designs, major media. This is a video blog, so it's like a TV show online with a blog, which is cool. TechCrunch. Like anyone can make a comeback with WordPress.